Bhagavam statkarotihi. Bhagavam statkarotihi. Taiste svesha bhutei rupe. Kale kale svayam vibho. Karma durvishaham yanno. Bhagavam statkarotihi. Taiste svesha bhutei rupe. Kale kale svayam vibho. Karma durvishaham yanno. Bhagavam statkarotihi. Taiste svesha bhutei rupe. Kale kale svayam vibho. Karma durvishaham yanno. Bhagavam statkarotihi. Taiste svesha bhutei rupe. Kale kale svayam vibho. Karma durvishaham yanno. Bhagavam statkarotihi. Mothers. Taiste svesha bhutei rupe. Kale kale svayam vibho. Karma durvishaham yanno. Bhagavam statkarotihi. Taiste svesha bhutei rupe. Kale kale svayam vibho. Karma durvishaham yanno. Bhagavam statkarotihi. By such appearances. By such incarnations. Svaisha bhutei. All appearing by your personal sweet will. Rupai. By factual forms. Kale kale. In different millenniums. Svayam. Personally. Vibho. O Supreme. Karma. Activities. Durvishaham. Uncommon. Unable to be enacted by anyone else. Yat. That which. Naha. Unto us. Bhagavan. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tat. That. Karoti. Executis. He. Indeed. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, by your sweet will, you appear in various incarnations, millennium after millennium, and act wonderfully, performing uncommon activities that would be impossible for us. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 4:7, Yada yada dharmasya glanir bhavati bhavata adhyutana dharmasya tadatmanam sijami aham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Thus, it is not imagination but a fact that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by His sweet will, appears in different incarnations, such as Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Nrishinga, Vamana, Parashuram, Ramachandra, Balaram, Buddha, and many other forms. Devotees are always eager to see one of the Lord's innumerable forms. It is said that just as no one can count how many waves there are in the sea, no one can count the forms of the Lord. This does not mean, however, that anyone can claim to be a form of the Lord and be accepted as an incarnation. The incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be accepted in terms of the descriptions found in the Shastras. Lord Brahma is eager to see the incarnation of the Lord, or the original source of all incarnations. He is not eager to see an impostor. The incarnation's activities are proof of his identity. All the incarnations described in the Shastras act wonderfully. Keshavadrita mina sharira jaya jagadi shahare. It is only by the personal sweet will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that he appears and disappears. And only fortunate devotees can expect to see him face to face. Translation: O Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, by your sweet will you appear in various incarnations, millennium after millennium, and act wonderfully, performing uncommon activities that would be impossible for us. Om Jnana Timirandasya Dhananjaya Sadakaya Sakshurun Militan Yena Tasmei Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Varsharam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamam Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Shri Chaitanya Prasadena Tadrupasya Vinira Anaya Bala I Kurute Shastram Drishdva Vraja Vilasina. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even a foolish child can fully describe the real nature of Lord Krishna, the enjoyer of the pastime of Raj, according to the vision of the revealed scriptures. And by the perfection of the hearing of the devotees, the speaker can be a manual instrument in this term. Okay. So Brahma is praying and praying Krishna. He only wants to see Krishna, and he says not the one, not the little one, or not no kind of imposter. He wants to see Krishna, the ultimate cause of all causes, and as is described in the Shastras, it is said that no one can claim to be God or so-called avatar. And this purport is, Srila Prabhupada is always coming on this point that no one can claim to be an avatar only if he is described in the Shastras. Because in India we know that there are many big yogis, they end up to identify themselves as God, and they pretend to be avatar, or if they are not saying, they let their disciples tell for them that he's an avatar, and we can hear and see so many, we can cross them in so many spiritual movements. So it is described that avatars, it's not a cheap thing, it's precisely described. Is coming regularly, as often as waves on the ocean, but is coming for very specific purposes, and it is described in the scriptures. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said also that although he is manifesting himself in the material world, it doesn't mean that he's conditioned by those descriptions and everything. Though is following it is really precisely described in the Shastras, so that no one can later on claim that, yeah, I'm an avatar of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is amazing each time when we see that Srila Prabhupada is, when he sees Bhagavan, it's translated as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and in the purport is going on, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not than another sheep manifestation. And it is really a treasure that we have. Can you imagine that at the beginning when Brahma is coming to call Krishna, but the first time he heard about Krishna, it was those 4 Chatushloki of the Bhagavatam, Ritirtam, Napratiyeta, and so on. And it was only 4 verses. And it was like a little virus which spread like a pandemic after. It becomes 18,000 verses suddenly. And he described that he will come this time, that time, in this way, in that way, in that way. And it's multiplying like anything. For which purpose? That's what is interesting. Yada yada idharmasya glanir bhavati bharata adbhutanam adharmasya. Adbhutanam is coming, but in a very magnificent way, you know. Adharmasya, tadatmanam sujamiyam is coming as often as waves on the ocean. And in the next verse of Bhagavad Gita is explained why it is coming. And the first reason why it's coming, remember? Paritranaya sadhunam. Paritranaya sadhunam is coming for giving pleasure to his devotees. This is his first purpose. Then after Vinashaya Sadushkritam, destroying the demons. So destroying the demons is just like another purpose, secondary purpose, you know. Almost often it is done just by the material nature itself, just by the law that are programmed in this world. It is done. But his main purpose is satisfying the devotees and delivering them. So he's coming regularly for that. And he's doing this in a very, in this verse, the word was the word was Durvishaham. Durvishaham is coming in very uncommon way. Uncommon in the sense, Srila Prabhupada explained precisely, unable to be enacted by anyone else. So he's really doing things which no one else can do. Like he comes and is maintaining such a property. No one can do. So many devotees are trying to maintain this property, but only him can do it. And we can see it is so uncommon. And he's coming also in a very wonderful way because he knows that if we are somewhere or other spirit soul in this material world, we are here and we are mostly attracted by so many things, so many energy in this world that it is inconceivable for people to have other goals than just to try to be happy or more happy or less distressful and less distressful than what we are now. And that's generally what the people are anchoring. How can I suffer less? How can I be happy? How can I rejoice, enjoy in some way or other? And what is crazy is that we are trying life after life, and so in so many ways, and it takes so long to just realize that no, it's not possible. And we are so foolish not to understand that is developing inconceivable and uncommon ways to remind us, to attract us, to manifest itself, and to remind us that he is here and that he is more attractive than anything. And sometimes we realize, even in our spiritual life, that yes, sometimes we were attracted somewhere or other to Krishna consciousness, but sometimes we come in front of the deities and we are like not seeing them also. And Srila Prabhupada he was saying that he's appearing and disappearing, and it was very interesting that this little pastime that he played for us, to close the curtain and open the curtain at the time of Srila Prabhupada was saying that, is appearing and disappearing according to his own will. And he's appearing and he's saying, Srila Prabhupada is ending the purport by saying, only fortunate devotees can expect to see him face to face. We are looking to him every day, but are we seeing him face to face? Are we seeing Krishna? Are we? That's what can be a mystery. That although he's there, are we seeing Krishna, or are we seeing just something, or just like the Upanishad is saying, the Shrisa Upanishad, just the effulgence or a glimpse of the light which can emanate from him. Somewhere or other it's like attracting or what, but we know that we are not looking to him with love yet, you know. So we are really fortunate that this pandemic is spread from the 4 shlokis to description of many avatars with many pastimes, and when we can read, and Srila Prabhupada was really merciful, because when he saw that Bhagavatam, it takes so long quote. For us it was so short that it did such a big work, but it will take so long that he wrote the Krishna book to describe all this pastime of Krishna, and to let us the opportunity by reading it to become attracted, fascinated just by reading the stories. There are so many souls that are attracted by knowledge or by looking to the absolute, and that's the research. You know, the 4 Sukritina in Bhagavad Gita, or the distress or the curious. But so many people are looking for knowledge and for studying Shastra, understanding the structure of material nature and how it combines, how it works, how it interacts, and so on. But that's not what will save us ultimately. To understand can strengthen our faith, but faith is the first step on the path. And you remember the path from Shraddha to Prema, from Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Devotion. First step is Shraddha. So knowledge is there to convince us somewhere harder. But what will attract us to Prema is just by reading the pastime of the Lord, is by becoming attracted by this sublime form, is to be able to somewhere or other find some taste in the chanting of the holy name. And this is how the process is working. No other ways. Just to be convinced will not be enough. To have Shraddha will be the beginning, but then when we have Shraddha, the second step is the normal step is Sadhu Sangha. So to come in the company of the sadhus. And when we are in the company of the sadhus, this Bhagavad Gita explains what is happening is Machita Malgata Prana Bodhayantak Pararparam Katayanta Shamam Nitya Tushanticha Ramanticha. We are really eager to enliven each other by speaking about Krishna, by remembering all the pastime, by exchanging our manual realization, but which are always steps showing how Krishna, by his uncommon activities, showing his mercy to each and every devotee. When you speak to each and every devotee and they are telling how they come into contact with Krishna consciousness, it is a pastime by itself, you know, and it seems so inconceivable how a person in this material world accept suddenly to shave himself and to dress like this and to chant Hare Krishna in the street, and it is amazing. It is a pastime of the Lord, you know, to somewhere or other change the mind of the person who was running after so many other goals, and then suddenly some arrangement, he had disappeared and suddenly he appeared. and it changed the course of our life. So the company of the devotees, Sadhu Sangha, is there. So we enliven each other by speaking about Krishna, by inquiring about our realizations, and we are becoming more and more. We are more and more tasting something, and this taste, those little tastes which are coming, they are just helping us to become really practitioners. Then, so the next step is bhajana kriya. So we absorb ourselves more and more in the service, and because we absorb more and more ourselves in the service, we become somewhere or other steady, and that's the goal, to become steady. Means that when in the beginning it says that it is Madhurya Kanambini and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining, when it is describing each and every of these steps, is saying that before to be steady, we are in an unsteady stage of devotional service, with 6 different manifestations. The first manifestation is that when we are new, we are so enthusiastic, utsahamai. It is so easy because everything we discover is so tasty. The smell of the incense, wow, what is there? Something is happening there. The smell of the prasad, wow, what is there? It is amazing. And all the kirtan, and with the devotees jumping in the air. Oh, you remember that? It was happening some time ago. So it may happen also every day if we want. It is possible. And enthusiastic, and such nice, so many nice forms of the Lord, dress very nicely every day, and wow, it is very enthusiastic. And in the beginning, we are tasting this enthusiasm very much. But it is unfortunately a symptom of our unsteady devotional service. Because after some time, even if those items are still there, because we are not tasting in the heart a real feeling for Krishna, we are just feeling external appearance of the devotional service, or symptoms. And because it's just external, then the devotional service becomes ganatarala. It becomes condensed and sometimes diluted. So it's sometimes we are intense in our practice, and some of the times we are like covered by other modes of material nature. But it is very important and very to understand for us that this platform of Nishta means to be really regular in our practice, will give us the next step, which is very important, and which is after Nishta there is anartha-nivritti, anartha-nivritti, though it will help to cleanse whatever is there. But this anartha-nivritti, the goal of anartha-nivritti is to feel ruchi, to feel some taste. And unless we have some taste coming, it's difficult to remain nishta. So it's very important to cultivate that, to find a taste in our chanting. If we don't find taste, so we really have to wonder what is happening, what kind of offenses am I cultivating, and how can I be more attentive in my chanting so that I can really find some taste in there. When I am in kirtan, what I am experiencing, the external symptoms of the kirtan, or I am really going into the art of the kirtan, feeling that I'm chanting and I'm addressing some glorification to the Lord. And in companies of devotees, we are really enthusiastic, and I'm amazed around me of so many enthusiastic devotees. And wow, it is such a wonderful place to be, to glorify the Lord. Am I meditative like that in the kirtan? when I have the opportunity to listen or to speak sometime the Bhagavatam, what am I taking from this? Am I taking something seriously for me, for what I'm living now? Am I trying to get what Srila Prabhupada tried to give us, to us? When I say give, I feel like emotional because I heard a very nice lecture from Amarendra Prabhu. I don't know if you know him on internet. Amarendra is living in Boston. Boston, interesting, huh? Srila Prabhupada was in Boston 55 years ago. And he's really a nice speaker. And he's speaking about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. And it was amazing how he was telling how Srila Prabhupada was so dedicated to just translate the Bhagavatam. He was so eager to give the Bhagavatam before leaving this earth that he was spending all his nights translating. And the devotees were going to sleep and he was translating in the meantime because he was giving books which were meant to be law books for 10,000 years. And when we read those purport, how deep they are, how precise they are, how unconditional they are, how demanding also they are, but there is no space for living outside the purpose of the message. He was always concentrated on that. And it was so amazing. It was like some ecstasy. Also, he was saying himself that it was the Krishna speaking. That's why he was even sometime sitting and asking the devotees to read his purport. And he was enjoying listening to all the words of Krishna which were flowing to his mouth in the dictaphone that we can see in his room there. So it is really a great fortune to have this Srimad Bhagavatam, and we must remind ourselves always how precious it is and how it is important to read it every day of our life. And just by reading, we can be saved. It was in a lecture those days, or maybe it was also Amarendra was saying that in the 9 activities of devotional service, it's not by hazard that Prahlad Maharaj said first Shravanam. That's what he did when he was in the womb of his mother. He listened to Narada Muni. And that's the most important, is to listen, because the more we listen, the more we open to hear all that and more only that, the more we become purified and the more it is our ticket back home, back to Godhead. So Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srimad Bhagavatam, and Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So if there is some questions or some clarification, please enliven us. Mataji.
Something very nice to listen and to read is Devamrita Swami. He made a series of lecture, the emotional dynamics of the devotee. So it's not just, he said, it's just saying, I believe Krishna is God. How can you say that? You don't get no taste, but you know, when you get into an emotional relationship, you know, getting into, you know, the different stages and getting some taste, you know.
Yeah.
Krishna is a person, you know.
Yeah. That's a very good point. Why I went to the point of Ruchi, because Ruchi is really the key to come to this Nishta platform, which is what we must reach. The Srila Prabhupada is expecting us to become pure devotees. You know, it's not only devotees. Devotee, it's already an amazing thing, but the taste is very important. And when we speak about this step to prema, we can speak of those steps for each and every of the Shravana. Shravana, we can have faith in the listening. We can approach the sadhu by Shravana. We can practice Shravana. And for each and every aspect of devotional service, we can progress also. So what is important is to find the taste, because and the way to find the taste, it is said, is just by practicing. So there is no other way. There's some person, they are trying to find the emotion before having the realization. You know, it's not the way. So the way to find this ruchi, this taste, is by practicing. And the more we practice, the more we find that we are becoming more and more purified. And those devotees who have the chance to practice since 20, 30, 40, maybe 50, I don't know, 50 maybe in the room, not yet, 50 years. They can testimony that after so many years, yes, it is coming. Yes, there is some cleansing which is there, which help us to find this taste, and we have to associate with these elder devotees we are practicing since so long, to become convinced ourselves that yes, they are finding the taste. It means that they were determined to go on long enough to reach that platform. So what I have to do is just walk in their footsteps. I have to just go on, and it will come one day, and it is coming. Yes, Prabhu?
Yeah, I was reading in one comment recently from Srila Prabhupada said, or Govinda Swami everyday story. He was quoting Srila Prabhupada saying that we present the form of the Lord, and that's why we can exchange some love, because unless there is form, you cannot have an exchange. The Lord is a person, you are a person. You give and you receive. This exchange is in between person, and you can have this concept of love. And in other religions or other system of spiritual evolution, it is not there. They have not this concept. Only the devotees have this concept, because only devotees can know love, and the form is there for the devotees to enhance the appreciation of the Lord.
Yeah.
So we are the only one to offer what is the form of the Lord, what are the different Ananda, Chinmaya,
Yeah.
Rama Samhita explained
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
waves, so many forms
Yeah.
of the Lord, and only Srila Prabhupada reveals the form of Radha Krishna.
Yeah. This is very, very special, our Sampradaya. I am preaching those days some person from Sri Sampradaya, and they are really in Lakshmi Narayan. They are chanting Radha Krishna. They are even knowing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but they are just in reverence, love. Say God, it is God, and we are chanting bhajan, but they don't know anything about rasas or higher taste or other things. It's really special what we have. It's inconceivable.
Another point is that you said there's different stages, but it's not like it's separated like that.
Yeah.
You can get some taste, and Lord Chaitanya gives us taste right away, you know.
Yeah.
And of course now, as you say, it goes up and down. But that's what we do. So we got a taste instantly. That's the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So it's not thinking, I got to get free from all anatta before I get a taste, you know. It's not like that. Otherwise, nobody would be here.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this is a good point. By whatever Srila Prabhupada put in place, he says, I gave you I created your God fortune, punya. So this is real. That's why we have some taste and some taste here and there, and this is what is encouraging us, and that's what's makes things happening. Yes, Prabhu.
I was thinking maybe we should just forget about our own taste and think about Krishna's taste.
Okay.
And the taste
Yeah.
will be there automatically. You don't have to worry about I had no taste.
Yeah.
Because we're supposed to satisfy Krishna's taste, right?
That's a very good point.
So
Yeah.
we don't even have to think about our own taste.
Yeah. That means that the best way to that this taste, because the taste is important so that we become fixed, but the taste is coming when we are pleasing Krishna, and we are pleasing Krishna by serving him. That's what you mean.
But at the same time, we have to be realistic. You need some taste last. In your service, I had some lectures. I heard a story. One Russian devotee, Russian person, who was a great scientist. He went to a temple, and for about 5 years they asked him to wash the dishes, the pots. So after a while he said goodbye. He didn't have taste in that kind of service because it was qualified. So it's important to get taste in different services. When somebody get taste from chanting, from playing writing, it's like, it's important to be engaged in services, you get some taste. They're just like, oh yeah, it's very austere, I don't like it, but, temporary you can do that, but you can't last so long if you don't engage your propensities, what you're good for, if you're good for something, do it for Krishna,
This is the side product of doing it in the right way. Just like liberation is a side product, if you do bhakti, then automatically it includes liberation.
Yeah. It means we have to also be discern what kind of taste we are getting. Is it a taste of inside that we are feeling more and more attraction towards Krishna, or we are taste because what we are doing is satisfying our senses, and it is how we can find what kind of taste we are. Is it material or is it spiritual?
Let's taste the prasadam.
Let's
taste the prasadam.
Uh-huh. We are testing how we can taste the prasadam. We are trying since so long to taste the prasadam.
He's trying to drop some hint.
So sorry?
He's trying to drop a hint.
To drink paneer. Okay. Somebody has anything else to say? No? So, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavan ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande.
What? You want to see? Yeah, with pleasure. I'm always happy when somebody shows interest in my...
It's rare to see men doing these things.
Yeah, I've been doing it for many years now. Yeah. It's a sampler. It's called Hadana. It's the style of embroidery. So it's a sampler. You see, every band has a different different stitch. Yeah. Yeah, we have Bodhagata now flat. You'll see when you come.
best,
In France?
the favorite designer is
All the fashion kings.
Okay.
Er det en initial? Det er sådan, som vi vil gøre det lidt.